Hey Kerbal Space fans, this is Raw with a subscriber request video. So, one of my subscribers asked about rocket SSTOs. I asked him to clarify exactly what he meant by that, and he meant SSTOs that are just rockets. For the most part, when we do SSTOs, they're hybrid. They're jet and rocket. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I was thinking to myself, well, there's a reason for that. I mean, it's so inefficient to have to carry oxidizer with you from the launch pad up when you can just use the air-breathing engine. If you're going to use two types of engines anyway, you might as well make it one very efficient in the atmosphere and one very efficient in space. But I gave it a shot anyway, and I was just looking at the tools we have to work with to see how something like that would look. So first I was wondering if I just grabbed a medium-sized tank and put a bunch of nukes on it, what would happen? And what would happen is this. I mean, this thing can get off the ground, but you'll see the problem very quickly. We all know the atomic rockets. We all love them. We use them in all kinds of things. But one thing you have to remember about atomic rockets is their specific impulse is crap in atmosphere. These things will have a specific impulse of 800 plus when they're in space. Down here in the lower atmosphere, it's only 200 and some. So even though they're atomic rockets, the fuel is leaving quick. As we start getting further and further up in the air, what little fuel we have left starts going a lot away because the specific impulse starts increasing. But still, with this method, you're not going to really get into space very well. I then tried making a design with jet engines like on the bottom there and this kind of thing out in the back, but they overheated and blew up. And when I thought about it, I've seen a lot of people do stuff like that. It's not that uncommon. It's really just a similar type of SSTO that we've always made, just without wings and more thrust so it can take off straight up in the air. Nothing much new there. Then I was remembering a video that I saw Cruise NAK make where he was using some of the new parts, right when these new parts came out. And he was basically just strapping a chair to one of these and sending it in orbit. It's difficult, the profile has to be spot on for you to get in orbit, but you can do it. This one's a little bit easier to fly, it's parachute, capsule. I mean, it's literally a 4-part SSTO, I'm sorry, 5-part because I put that one on there. And that one's just because this engine is way stronger than it needs to be to move just this. With a little bit more fuel you can get there faster, and since the engine is so strong it really doesn't slow it down any. So computer controls, full throttle. As you see, you go straight up into the air very fast. You probably want to throttle down because you really don't want to exceed 200 meters per second in the lower atmosphere. And with this, I'm not going to make it into space because I'm doing this wrong. But with this, you can get in orbit around a couple times, deorbit, bring it back, crash this. You'll probably blow up this rocket and this will survive. And you'll technically have, you know, a very, 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 very simple SSTO, though not the easiest to fly into space. So I was thinking about this some more, and I was thinking to myself, well, the nukes don't work close to the ground. These work great close to the ground, but you're not going to really do anything in space. So I thought to myself, well, why not a little of both? So this is the one that I'm working on now. It has landing gear. It has one of these. It has the orange tank because it can still lift it. And of course it has 2 atomic engines with their own tank. These are not hosed, so this runs out and then you will use it in space. We have a little capsule. We have some solar panels. We have 3 parachutes. And of course landing legs. And this actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. I mean, the orange tank and that big 1-block engine get up into the air easy. Can retract the feet now. We're gonna just follow a standard rocket flight path. We're gonna go up to 10 kilometers, try to keep it under 200 meters per second. I can do some time acceleration. Trying to keep it under 200. Well, close to 200. I'm losing that battle. Time acceleration thing, of course, can sometimes get in the way. So we're picking up good amounts of altitude and velocity. We of course want to get both fast and high. That sounded weird, but okay. And now that I'm so high up in the sky, I want to go as fast as humanly possible. So I'm going to burn out the rest of the engine here almost flat. Okay. I didn't even have these action groups. I could do that manually. So let's see. We have a periapsis already in the hundreds. We haven't used the atomic rockets at all, but I'm going to stage them and burn a little bit just so that the system gets used to having them there. You know, picking up a little more velocity never killed nobody. This is all going to help us finish circularizing the orbit. Time accelerator, okay, we're at 70. Let's see. What's it going to take to circularize this? 14 on the other side, that's fine. It's an estimated 2-minute burn. 2 minutes and 45 seconds, actually. So let's time accelerate to about 1.5 minutes. Of course I have no control wheels on this, but a little bit of vectoring on the atomics is going to help us with that. I don't really care about how circular the orbit is, so I'm going to minimize steering loss by burning just flat. It's going to be a lopsided orbit, but as long as it's an orbit, I'm cool with it. Let's of course time accelerate. The SAS doesn't do much in time acceleration, does it? It's just wiggling back and forth. And how we doing? 124, 112, that is easily in orbit. And as you guys can see, we still have a lot of fuel in these dedicated tanks for the atomic engine. This thing is hard to steer, of course, because it has no control wheels, but it does have solar panels and whatnot. So I'm fairly sure you could like fly this to the moon and land it, or fly it to Minmus and land it, or put a docking port on it, dock it to the station, transfer some fuel out and bring it back. With this simple combination of these two pieces and this little system here, you have an SSTO that can really get places once it's in space. And what's that a total of? It's 1, 2, that's 5, 6, 7, and 4 panels, 11 parts. Oh, and the parachute, 12 parts. So it's a 12-part SSTO, of course, never mind, landing gear. 16-part SSTO, which could probably be, wow, I really learned to count. There's 3 parachutes. 18-part SSTO that can go probably anywhere within the inner Kerbal system and come back. I can't vouch for the landing part. I think even with the 3 parachutes, once it plops back down to Kerbal, it'll probably break something off. But as far as rocket-only SSTOs, this is very easy to make, very easy to fly. Pretty much the way to go. So to my subscriber that asked for it, here you go. No jets whatsoever, nothing but rockets, and no dropping stages. Now, as far as the interplanetary thing going, I am filming more of those. I'm going to be releasing them like once a week. I'm totally going Lord of the Rings on you guys because I'm filming them 3 or 4 at a time. But I'm going to be releasing them one a week. And that kind of gives me time to mess around in Kerbal Space Program and figure out new stuff to make while, you know, providing some kind of steady flow of things to watch and keep my subscribers entertained. So again, thank you guys very much for watching. This is Raw signing off and reminding you guys to fly safe. This time I didn't crash, so like me.